quarterfinals will be between Croatia and Brazil. Now, the runner-up of 2018 will be taking on the winners of 2002. So it's been 20 years since Brazil got their hands on the coveted trophy. But will they be able to edge past Croatia, who have been exceptional in the midfield? The likes of Modric, Kovacic and Brozovic have been exceptional. And even in the defensive third, we saw against Belgium that they were quite sturdy at the back. So Brazil won't be able to easily get past Croatia as easy as they did against South Korea.
They can, but it just depends on what tactical formations are going to be there. Croatian coach loves the 4-3-3. He normally plays there, but here you can't do that same thing, because here you're not only against technically adept players but skillful players who can understand the ball so well that it's almost like they live with the football, But you do expect the midfield of Croatia to be doing all the hard work. I honestly don't think Modric can drop deep, because if he drops deep, then coming up and those through balls through the channels and on the lines are not really going to happen. He really can't. He doesn't have the legs to do that at this moment.
I think for that, Brozovic would be a better option. He is physical. Kovacic can, shield the ball with his body.
They need those physical players, as you say. But okay, taking it to a very different direction, I mean, you know what Croatia might do, because they are the defensive side here against a team of ball jugglers. What if the first 40 minutes, or let's say the first half is a goalless, what is Brazil going to do then? I mean, will they keep playing the same style? Will they keep going up forward, or will they change?
An ideal situation would be to, let Croatia attack for a while, then look for counters, because they have the likes of Vinicius and Rafinha on the flanks, who are not only fast, but they are very, incisive in their dribbles. So they can be very good on the counters, Neymar going along with them, and then they have Richarlison. So if they are not able to score by camping deep in opposition's half, then they can come back for a while and look for an option for a counter. Do you think that would be an ideal option for Brazil?
Yeah, I mean, second half has to be that then, if the first half is a goalless one. But expect a close game. I mean, this is not a 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, 6-1, 4-1 kind of a game, because you won't be getting that space. It's another matter that they suddenly go a very different level up. But we constantly talk about the centre forwards. We don't ever mention the back four of Brazil. I think this match still will not test them that much, honestly. Because Croatia really doesn't have those kind of ball jugglers up front.
They only have Perisic, who have now become
the lot of pressure
highest
on him.
Goal scorer.
He'll be under massive pressure to deliver against Brazil. And those are the kind of pressures that either make a player or break a player. If he can do that, if he can get a goal up front, if he can even get an equalizer after Brazil has scored, and we are almost taking it for granted that Brazil is going to score. But if he can do a 1-1, a 1-1 puts pressure on Brazil, because suddenly they are up against a team that, they know the players out there. And Vinicius knows the quality of Modric. He's so used to it. And these are the boys who will probably tell it to the coach and tell it to the team that, this is what you're going to expect. A World Cup is a very different drama, a very different kind of place where, honestly, it's not a club game anymore. So I think that's where you'll see a hugely different Croatia. And I do believe a hugely different Brazil team.
Right. It will be a tight contest, but we can agree to that Brazil has a better chance here against Croatia.
Yeah, emotionally, I'm looking at a very emotional kind of a thing that Brazil can't lose. But yes, Brazil can lose.
Talking about losing, Netherlands haven't lost since Louis van Gaal has taken over. So, it's a tough challenge now to play against Argentina, who are unbeaten in 36 matches. But the Saudi setback, ended their streak. But they have been good in the last two matches against Australia. Also, they were really nice. But will they be able to break Netherlands, who have the tendency to, defend, contain the opposition? Then whenever they go up front, then they make it a point that they score. So how will this contest be like?
I think it's again coming down to a fact where how much space can you give Messi and how much space Holland is willing to give it there. I think at the end of the day, Memphis, the pace at which he plays is number one, very crucial to Argentina's defense. If all of this can be curtailed in terms of how Van Gaal comes out with this format, I still believe this is not an open play game. This is a very 0-0 game. And I won't be hugely surprised if it goes down to penalties. I won't be very surprised if it goes even down to extra time where, you know, one little pace across the line, one cross is going to decide this whole outcome. Argentina is going to play safe. That much is sure. I don't think they want to take chances. They would rather rely on Messi creating something. You know, that one magical moment. But in a World Cup, you know, a player can create 1, 2, 3 magical moments. I don't know if a player can continuously create magical moments that can take a team right into the final. I think that's where Van Gaal also, with his kind of experience, club level, World Cup level, I mean, he's a great coach at the end of the day. He knows, and he would also understand Scaloni's tactics here. This is like Brazil, Croatia, and most of the matches at this particular, I think, juncture or probably at this stage, they become tactical. Nobody wants to take a clear-cut chance. If you get it, you get it, but nobody is going to do what Korea did against Brazil. Nobody's ever going to do that, you know, and then expose your entire, you know, defense and have 2-0, 3-0 scores to climb from. It's a close game.
But it could be similar on the lines of Spain versus Morocco.
It could be, but that was a little ultra defensive Morocco taking once in a while counter attack. You will expect Messi to move up. You will expect Messi to move up because he also understands that if a goal is not scored, then Holland is going to climb on top. They have an excellent midfield, you know, and that is where, you know, that is really going to come into play here. And Argentina knows that it's only 2 or 3 players on their side who can create that space for Messi. If they can do that, then you have a match on. But it's going to be a struggle for both the teams. It's going to be a struggle till somebody finds one moment to score a goal. Otherwise, it's a penalties.
A key clash here would be Messi versus Virgil van Dijk. Van Dijk has been at the top of his game for the last few years. So it won't be as easy as one would think for Messi to get past the tall defender.
If he comes up to the press, I think he's going to stay at the back, and at the same time it's the format. I don't know what format are they going to be coming in with their defense, how much in the midfield, because against a team like Argentina, you have to be careful of one player or 2 players who will create a moment. Van Dijk, I think, will still stay at the back a little. He understands the crosses much better than most, and I think, again, a close game for sure, unless somebody opens up the first half and gets an opening. Then you have an open game because then it's a win-win situation for the person or for the team that's already been conceded and also for the team that wants one more goal. But that's a scenario that's slightly not realistic right now. Yeah.
I would want Argentina to win this one, but what would be your prediction for this clash?
Holland.
Yeah. Moving on to the final clash, the marquee fixture between France and England. So this is the one that everyone is awaiting at the moment. Both the teams are really good, good squad depth, and they have shown dominance in the tournament so far. Both the sides are, you know, France have been better defensively, but in terms of attack, both the sides have shown promise. But there will be a good clash in the midfield, don't you think?
You sometimes try and imagine scenarios which are not there, and I think it's also, you know, just taking a little bit of time on a scenario of Kante, Paul Pogba. I was just imagining, I mean, like, if these 2 players were there, then what would have been France's reaction to so much? You know, I think it would have been a team unbeatable, just looking at the way they have been moving, you know, with Mbappe and all. But for all that is being said, I still think with all the energy and with all the Mbappeism that France is showing, England is a powerful force at this moment of time, and for some reason or the other, this is the World Cup that looks that England's way, you know. There's a last report that came in that Sterling probably is going to decide in the next 24 hours whether he's going to be flying down or not. Though I don't know how much of Sterling factor will weigh in the end, you know, with Southgate. But what really weighs in is the way the youngsters have played. All said and done, you might have Bellingham and, you know, Harry Kane and Bellingham's midfield maestro, and now he's also being said that he's going to PSG probably. But it is Foden. It is Foden who will decide the fortune of this match. Because unlike a lot of players, I do believe his intelligence is of a very different level. He understands when to cut in, he understands when to have the ball to himself. And like Pedri, unfortunately, no more Pedri at this World Cup. But this guy has the time. He has the time when he has the ball with him, and which is again a very Brazilian factor. But I think a lot of that match is going to be decided by a couple of players. Mbappe, surely. Oliver, he's on a high again. So these are the players who are really going to do that. So let's see. I mean, it's going to be close, but it also could be wide enough. 1-0, 2-0, and then 2-2, and then 3-2. Yeah, and it would be great if the game opens up, because then you're going to see 3-2, 4-3, 4-4. Won't go to 4-4, but 3-2, some scores like that.
It would be interesting to see if it turns out to be a KG affair, 3-3, 4-4. But one thing is for sure, Foden is excellent, and he should be compared to the likes of Mbappe and Haaland because of the things that he's doing at Man City and at the national team. And it's a good decision by Southgate to finally play him in the last few matches. But coming back to England's defense, there's always been a question about the 3 men and 4 men, but Southgate has relied on 4 men this time. But against a stronger side, he often prefers 3 at the back. So can we see him switching to the 3 men, or will it be better to prefer a balanced football and go with 4 men defense?
I think at the end of the day, it will be conservatism for him again. If he doesn't display the conservatism in the midfield and the forward line, England has a great chance out here. But if he gets 3 at the back, then it's trouble in the first half for sure. He will be conservative. I'm 110% sure. It's a quarter-final game. It's not any other. It's not like a round of 16 or something where a side can be weak. France, it's one of the World Cup favourites. England, one of the World Cup favourites. But compared to France, I think Southgate will be slightly conservative because he will not want to concede. Cannot afford to concede is probably a better line. So I think that's where probably a 4 might come in. But yeah, let's see. How close the game is in the first 15.
How will they be able to stop Mbappe? That's a big question.
I think it just depends on how well Mbappe plays in this particular encounter. It is also the press that will come in from England. And how many times is Mbappe going to go back or fall deep? Again, it's probably the same thing. If Gareth Southgate can get a team that can attack relentlessly, knowing that, a 2-0 scoreline is virtually a winning scoreline unless you have a really bad defense on the day. I think if that happens, then Mbappe's role also is restricted to a slightly conservative, slightly at the back. He'll have to pick up balls to go forward, because he will, from 4, they will drop to 5 in the French defense to at least contain the England forwards. And Sako and all are fast.
Yeah.
Not only fast, the way they can change a game around, I think is slightly much better than what the French forwards can change. So Griezmann is of course there, but Griezmann is a deep-sided player now. And I think you talk of Mbappe, you talk of Giroud, you talk of anybody, I think France is playing on the strength of Griezmann in this World Cup. I think he's one of those unknown factors who's mightily 90% known in that team. But for the person outside who's watching in the stadium or who's watching it on television, I think they look at Mbappe, but they don't look at Griezmann. How he comes up, how he goes back, how he creates. It's amazing. I don't know from where Griezmann has suddenly found Griezmann,
Yeah.
But it's magical to watch him. It's magical to have a player who's been, he's had success at the club levels, but has never played like this.
Yeah.
So maybe Atletico is watching or somebody else is watching.
He always performs for Deschamps. But what would be your prediction for this clash?
It's a 3-2 game. It's a 3-2 game, honestly, because of the vibrancy of both the teams. If it's anything less, then you have a very muddled affair. And I don't believe this can be muddled. Not with players like Mbappe, Griezmann, Foden. These are not the players who play muddled football. They play the same at the club level. They're going to be playing the same here. I think after 15 minutes, even if there's conservatism from both the coaches, the players will let loose and create an atmosphere where you want to watch really good football.
Thank you, Sandeep. That's it from this episode. We'll be reporting live from Qatar for the quarterfinals and semi-finals and finals. So stay tuned for all the news, insights, facts and figures for the World Cup. This is Hardik Agrawal signing off.